Hello and welcome to your website. This is an overview of how to take care of it and add to it and change it and make sure that it's maintained and backed up for safety. So I am going to show you first off how to log in. And so here I am on the home page, and you'll go up into your address bar here, and all you need to do is come to the end of your URL and add a /WP-ADMIN. Nope, I don't know, ADM, and return, and you're going to get to the login. So I have made a couple of users for you here, and I've sent you the passwords for those, but I'm going to use my login here just to show you around. All right, so once you enter in your username and password, you come to the dashboard, and this is the behind-the-scenes look at the website of WordPress. So that's logging in. All right, done that. Now let's talk about a little bit of overview. So what you're seeing here is there's two menus. So there's this top menu bar here, and there's also this menu bar down the left-hand side. And these are just things that you might want to reference right off the bat. Let's see. So let's start with the top. First of all, here is the title of your site. And when you hover over these things, as I hover my mouse over, I see Visit Site. So that will actually take you back to the front public-facing side of the website. One little trick that's kind of nice is if you right-click on that, you can open that in a new tab, and you don't lose the dashboard, and you can just click over to your other tab and see the front-facing site simultaneously. You can have two tabs open. All right, and then these will show you if you have updates that are available, and you can see them here as well. And this is a managed WordPress from your GoDaddy, and so of this little menu, the one thing I want to show you is how to flush your cache. When you make a lot of changes on the site, it's important to flush the cache, the held on information, so that a visitor comes to your site, they're seeing the updated changes. So once you finish updates, that's where you'll find a way to flush the old cache out of the memory. This is a very important plugin called Updraft Plus, and this is where we make backups of the site. So we'll do that maintenance chore. And down the side here, these are various things that you'll need. So posts are blog posts. Now it's important to know the difference between posts and pages. Posts are articles or blogs that you write, and pages are the actual menu-driven pages on the website. So two very separate types of entries that you can have on your website. Right now, your website does not have any posts except the sample post that's listed here. Media is, I'll go ahead and click in here. This is all of the images and if you have any PDFs or anything media related that you want to upload to the site. So all the images of the books are here, the stock photos that I have used across the site, as well as some old stock photos that were in the block templates that I used are still here. So you'll be able to see all the media that is associated with the site here. You can have them in this grid form, or if you click this little icon, they will be listed instead of in a grid. So two ways to see this information. But if you have new images you want to upload, this is one of the places you can do it. Say Add New, and you'll select the files. It'll take you to your computer's file directory, and you can just upload any images or PDFs that you want to add to your menu library. All right, so let's go back to the dashboard. And the next thing I want to show you is the pages. So these are all the forward-facing pages that you have on your site. Your About page, your Contact, the Business Seminars, your Giving page, the Home page. Privacy policy is something that every website has, and this really has not been customize, you'll want to take a look at that and customize that for your own use. And then the watch page. So all of these, this is where you will come in and make changes and updates to your front-facing pages. We're going to cover that in a minute. I don't want to stop right now to do that, so let's keep going. Comments would be comments on your blog posts if you allow comments. And now let's look at Elementor, because Elementor is the plugin that we use to actually create the pages. It is an editing plugin. All WordPress sites come with Gutenberg plugin, but we have used Elementor just because it's so much simpler to use. So the thing about these editing plugins is you only want to be using one. So even though on your site Gutenberg still exists here, you don't ever want to use Gutenberg. You always want to edit using Elementor. So if you notice on the pages, and I'll get into this then, but as I hover over these pages, your options, you're going to see this edit with Elementor. And so if you're going to make edits on a page, you'll always want to do this. Okay? So that's what Elementor is, and there's just other elements that came with that plugin that I like to use, other little helps. Appearance is where we have chosen your themes and where we customize your menus. So let me click into menus. On every page, we have categorized the pages and how we want the functioning of the pages to work. So let me click over here. So this is your menu here. So we get to tell which pages we want to direct the visitor to, and that's all done on this menus page. So you can see all the pages listed and in the order that they're listed. So if you ever have a new page you want to add to the site, no one will be able to find it unless it's added to the menu. So that's where these live, in appearance. Now the plugins, so we can get to the plugins. I've clicked over to themes. You won't need to bother with themes. But the plugins, these are like apps for the website, and these are what keeps the website functioning. So as you can see, we have the Elementor, that editor app that I have here. Updraft, this is how we make your backups. Optimize, this is how we keep things moving quickly, especially with your images. Yeah, so these are the plugins, like the apps, to keep things running. And this may be something that you want to add to over time if you find, if you want, I don't know, if you have reviews you want listed, or if you have social media feeds you want featured on your pages. Those are usually functions of plugins, and they can be added here by, again, add new. Users, this is the people who have access to this dashboard. So I have one for as your webmaster, and I have administrator level access so that I'm able to update every page for you and back up and do the administrative tasks that you've needed up to this point. I've also made a user for you, Pastor, that is also at the administrator level. And then I just made a generic user that you will probably want to use for your church staff, and I kept them at an editor access level just because administrator access can have full access, and mistakes can be made at this level that are hard to undo. And so if you have someone who's just learning the site, or you don't want them to be able to make administrator changes, this editor level is a little bit a better access for someone who's not actually administering the full site. Again, if you have more people you want to add, you can give them their own login by adding a new user. They need to have a unique email address and name, and then you'll set the role that you want them to have, that you want them to play. All right, so that is users. Now there is tools. Probably won't have too much need for this. Your site is still new. Settings are kind of some interesting settings. You can always, just click through here and see what each category is all about. But this is where we put the site title and your tagline. So feel free to update this if you'd like to. Again, all the administration emails will come to me so that if there's a problem, I will be able to have access to help you get them fixed. You can change your time zone here. And you can say how you want your date format or the time format. Feel free to do those. I'll go ahead and change this. I like that the day of the week starts on Sunday. So if you make a change, make sure you hit Save Changes, and the site will be updated there. Okay, so really that's all I want to show you down here. There's some things that you don't necessarily need to worry with. Something here, these video tutorials, I'm going to highlight them here. The thing to remember about these WordPress video tutorials is they are going to show you, again, the Gutenberg editor. And that is something I don't want you to touch, because to have two conflicting editors on a site can make your site not work correctly. So whenever you see anything about Gutenberg, just ignore that. But as far as like the dashboard information is good, the posts and pages, remembering what the difference of those are helpful. Yeah, so that's available on the site if you're interested in that. All right, so there is your overview. Now let's talk about maintenance. So when you come into your dashboard, you're going to see these red circles. And what that means is there is an update that is available, and you can find them two places. So all your updates will sit right here in this update. Now, if there is no updates to be made, this won't even highlight. You can see them here. But what this is telling me is there's two updates, and they happen to be plugins. So let's hop into this plugin page, and you can see here the ones that need updating. They will tell you. The thing about Elementor is because it is a third-party plugin, different from WordPress, sometimes, people all across the globe are using these plugins, and they don't know your particular configuration. So they always come up with these big warnings that, heads up, before you upgrade, make sure you make your backups. Because sometimes plugins, as they interact, can cause problems. And so you want to be aware of what you're doing. So the standard operating procedure is before you ever update any plugins, you can see that you need to, you're going to make sure that a backup is created. And that's right up here. We put it up at the top because it's so important. You're going to click into this backup and restore. And this plugin takes care of that for you. Now, I have done the settings so that every week you will get an automatic backup of your site, just so that you don't have to constantly come in. But it's always a good idea before you update plugins to take a backup. Okay, so when that Elementor is, when the plugin is updated, it's going to turn green. So we'll go on to the next one. So it just takes a few minutes. Plugins, because they are third-party software, they are updated just on their own creator's timeline. So every time you come into the back of your website, you'll see those updates, and it's good to come in once a week so you can see if there's backups needed. Okay, so both of those updated fine. And those now, so see now that red 2 is gone, so you know that your site is fully updated. All right, now what we want to do, good habit to do, is we're going to come over to this front-facing side. I'm going to hit the refresh button. We're just going to make sure that everything still looks good. All right, just a nice visual that everything is working as it should. It's just going to take a second. Sometimes when I'm making these videos, my computer slows down a little bit, but let's just scroll through. Yep, all the movements happening. Okay, so it looks like everything is working well. All your motion pieces are coming back together. All right, so that's good news. All right, so that is maintenance and backups. Now, remember what I spoke about, when you make changes on your site, you want to clear the cache, and that's also up here at the top. So flush the cache. We're going to just click that, and you'll notice the wheel happening up here. It's just a good idea when you update plugins, when you make sure everything's working, then it's just keeping things clear. So that's how you clear the cache. All right, so now let's talk about making changes to your pages. So the pages are here. I'm going to click into this little menu item, and it will expand to the page with all of your different pages. Okay, so a couple of different things I'll show you right off the bat. Let's talk about the home page. There's a lot of options here. So you're going to see edit, you're going to see quick edit, trash. Don't do this unless you want it to go completely away. View, it'll open to the front facing page. Duplicate, if you want to make an exact copy of this, or edit with Elementor. So I'm going to take you right into the edit option. What would happen if you forgot that you want to use Elementor and you went here? All right, so this is the skeleton of what a page looks like. You're going to see, is it made public? When was it published? Who was the author? Again, move to trash makes it go away. Be very careful of that. You can see the revisions that we've made in this page. The permalink is its actual website address, so the URL, because this is your home page, it's just your basic URL. We don't use the featured image because we've built it with Elementor. Yeah, those are just some basic things. So now let's say, okay, I want to make changes to the site. Well, you can still get there, edit with Elementor. But I need to show you this here. Back to WordPress editor. WordPress is kind of sneaky. They're always trying to get you to use that Gutenberg again because it's their product. So if you accidentally click this, thinking this is the back button to get back to the menu, you could be in a mess. So again, my highest caution, do not press this button. To get back, you're going to hit the W. Okay, WordPress. The WordPress W is going to take you back to the WordPress menu. Okay, so coming in, let's see what happens when we remember to use our Elementor option. This is the best part. This is where making updates can be very, very simple for you and your staff. That's why I always use Elementor. This is the home page, and what I like about this editor is you can actually see what it looks like on the front at the same time that you're editing. So you know in real time the edits you're making. Gutenberg doesn't do that. Gutenberg, you have just blocks of code and text, and it doesn't show you. It's like trying to design it with your eyes closed, I think. So love Elementor. That's why I always use it. Okay, so this you'll see as I hover over, there's going to be different elements that kind of come into place. And so there are some great Elementor videos on YouTube, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time teaching you every intricate detail about Elementor because you can find those, frankly, done better than I would do right here on YouTube. So I will link you some of my favorite ones as I send you these videos so that you can take a little deeper dive into Elementor if you want to. But let's just look at some basic page structure just to help you. So if you think of these pages are in layers, right? And so the biggest layer is called a section. And that is what, when I hover over here, this blue line that appears around this whole area is called a section. And you know you're in a section because it looks like a file folder tab at the top. So when I click on that, click on those little dots in the center, I'm going to be able to edit the container. It is the largest container. The next smallest container is called a column. And so as I hover over here, you see this gray box that comes in the corner. This is how, and it even says the words right there, edit column. If I click on that, you notice the changes that come on the left-hand menu. These are the edits available for the column. And then inside a column are elements. And so that's where these little blue pencils appear. So if I click on that element, Then I'm in the smallest container and I'm only working on this piece that's in the blue. So for instance, this header right here, and as I clicked it, so you can see, oh, this is where I would change the words here. All right, so let's go back to our container, our section, and I'm going to click on that. Now on the left-hand side, this edit your section, and it'll tell you where you are. You've got 3 levels of editing as well. So that you can edit the layout, you can edit the style when I click on that style, and then there is advanced. So this is more about the padding, the sizing, the shifting of the elements. So, you know, my goal for you is that you won't need to do these large changes. You're just probably going to need the small changes, like maybe you don't want this wording here. You want to say it's something different than ways to connect. So we'll go to the pencil and we'll come to the content. Now this is actually what the content is of this element, right? This is a title, and here is where you could come in here and just like any kind of editor, you just type right in the box. So super simple. You know, if you've done any kind of word processing, you've probably seen this type of thing before. So, so let's say maybe you wanted to put it in the middle. You can change that here. Change that here. You can change what type of tag it is. And I'll keep it at H2 because H2s are better for search. And if you wanted this to take someone to a link somewhere, you can even add that link right here. All right, let's say you want to change the style. So now we have the text color. We click on this pencil, we can see, you know, the font that we're using, the size, the weight, the word spacing. All of this will deal with the typography of this element. You know, if you want shadows, text strokes, you know, you probably won't have to worry about those. And then the advanced, the margin is how much space outside the element, and the padding is how much space inside the element. Right now they're locked. All the dimensions, top, bottom, right, and left are locked so that's simultaneous. Let's say if I put a 5 in here, it's going to go across. It's going to add a 5 pixel buffer all around. But let's say if I want to just move one of these, I have to unlock it, and I can say, well, I want the right side to have more. You know, all of that can be changed, right? So, yeah, if you have it 0, it'll be 0. And that is the same for everything. So let's say we wanted to, you know, change the wording of something. You know, if we want to come into this quote, I'm going to hit that pencil. And this is a text editor element, so you probably are familiar with this kind of box. This is where we change the text. Again, this is where we can change the style. All right, if we want to have it a little more space, let's add a little padding here. So that adds a little padding, right? Fairly simple. Now, whatever you're doing, once you make those changes, you're going to see this green update button. This is like the big save button. So you've got to hit that update, and those changes will immediately go live on the site, on the front of the site. Okay? Yeah, we've added a lot of links here. Let me show you about links, because you may have more of these you want to add in. So for this particular book, I've made it so as we hover, we see the title, and this link takes you to the Amazon link, and then you've sent me a bunch of other additions. So I'm going to click the pencil here, and you can see that this is a title. That's the kind of block it is. And I've got the link. So when anyone clicks on the title Spanish edition, it'll take them to this link. But a nice little feature, see this little option wheel? We want those links to open in a new window so that they don't lose your website. So it'll open in a new tab for them, and they'll still be able to come back to right where they were. I always like to make sure that my links open in a new window. It's just easier navigation for your user. All right, so let's say we wanted to add a link on this book. Well, the easiest way to do it is to duplicate what's here. Instead of starting from scratch, This is a big time saver. So I'm going to right click here and I get another little menu and I can duplicate it. Okay, and it will give me the exact copy of this element right here. And then I can just come in, I could copy in a new link, whatever that link is, and then I can drag it. See, I'm holding down my mouse button and I can and everywhere that button, or that little blue line goes, that's where it will drop when I let go. So that's the easiest way to add more. And again, all of this, I can also delete it by right-clicking. All of this is the kind of information you get by doing a deep dive into the Elementor editor on YouTube. But just wanted to show you some of the most handy tools. Now, sometimes we make mistakes, correct? No, we don't ever make mistakes. I just want you to know that there's a way to undo what you've done. So come to the bottom of here, and you'll see, as I hover over here, it says History. So when I click on that, I can see a history of all the edits that I've just done. And I can, if I click on it, it will take my revision back to that step. So if you find that you've gotten yourself into a little bit of a corner and you're not sure how to undo what you did, go back to the history and nothing is lost. It's all going to be here in the revisions. Now these are the actions of this session. If you want to take the page back to a different day, let's say the things you don't like what you did today, you want it how it was yesterday, that's what the revisions would be. These are the dates. These are the revisions that we've had from the very beginning. All right? So you can click on it and you would apply. All right, I'm not going to do that now, but again, that's how to undo if you get yourself in a little bit of a mess. All right, so let's say our edits are all finished and we want to go back to the WordPress dashboard. This little hamburger, they call that a hamburger up here, is the menu, and right here it says Exit to Dashboard. We're going to click on that. Yeah, leave site because I'm not going to make those changes. It just reminds you, if maybe you've made a change you haven't saved, you can still save it. I don't want to do that. I'm not making changes right now. And it will take you to where we've seen this page before, correct? This is just the edit page. And again, many people will see this back arrow and they'll click it. Do not do it. No, 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 no. We want the W to get back to WordPress, okay? So that is basics of making changes to pages. All right, so now I'm thinking, I know that you have videos that you want to add to your watch page. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to hover over the watch page. Again, I'm going to edit with Elementor, and I'm going to show you how those videos are in that little playlist on your watch page. So as I scroll down, you'll see, again, our little sections and our columns and our element. So this element is the video playlist. So when I click on that little pencil, again, the options change on this left-hand menu. These are the listings of all the videos that we have in this playlist. And we want to add an item. We'll just click Add Item here, and a new spot will open up. And you have the option of using YouTube or Vimeo. Self-hosted is when you upload the video to your dashboard, but I don't really recommend doing it because it takes a lot of your website space and it can slow your website down quite a bit. So I would say either use YouTube or Vimeo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my other, I've got my other monitor here, and I'm going to pick one of these Vimeos that you've sent me. And so I'm going to show you how to add them here. Okay, so I'm going to select Vimeo. And once that opens, it's taking a second. All right, it's ready for the new video. So that's the placeholder. Here we go. Okay, so I've got the So I'm going to bring in the URL for the Vimeo, paste it in. Right, and the nice thing here is you're going to say get video data, and the program will bring in, see, I've got the title here, I've got the duration, and the thumbnail that you created for this video all comes in right into it. Okay, and when we scroll down here, you'll see that it's added to the bottom of the list. Now, yeah, that's all you have to do. You'll hit update, and on the front side, forward-facing website, that video is now added to the playlist. You may want to separate these out. When I was creating this, I didn't know that you were going to have so many videos, and it may be a lot for someone to search through. So up to you. What you could do is right-click here, hit duplicate, and it'll just put another, here, I'll hit it because it'll duplicate this element. Come on now. Do your thing. Make sure that we're here. This is a lot of information. There it goes. All right, so it just completely duplicated that element. And you can go in to the first one. Right, when I click on this pencil, this is the information be here, and I can delete ones that I don't want in this playlist. And I can also rename my playlist right here. So you might say, Dr. Janadu, yes, Dr. Janadu, or Reverend Paul Janadu videos. That could be the name of this playlist. And down below you could say Reverend Catherine Janadu, or, divide them up how you want. But it's the easiest, what I find, instead of starting from scratch on an element, it's always, if you want something similar, make a duplicate and change it versus starting from scratch. Really a time saver, and you'll also get consistency throughout the website. So I'm going to delete this one for now, right-clicking on this pencil. I'm going to delete the element because I want, that's for you to decide if you want these broken down further. But that's what I would recommend, just because there are a lot of videos now listed here, and it might be easier for your user if they're seeing either different topics or different speakers or certain conferences. Yeah, a lot of different ways to do that. But that's how you add a video to a playlist. So that is done on our checklist here. But one other thing I want to show you just really quickly on these, let's say you wanted to add a new element, okay? So up at the top of this Elementor bar, you'll see this cluster of options, and that's where we are right now. And these are called widgets. And so these are all the different elements that can be added to a page. So for instance, let's say I wanted to add a new heading above this video library. Now the elements have to live inside a section, and they need to also live inside the column. So remember our layer structure. It's section, column, widget, or individual element. All right, so and the nice thing about Elementor is, let's say I want to drag this heading. I'm going to click it, I'm going to drag it over, and where it's not letting me land anywhere. Where it's possible to go, it will give you a blue line. So once a blue line appears, if that's where I want it to be, that's where I can let go. Let's see, my Elementor is being a little fussy today. Don't think it liked that. Don't think it liked that update, so I'm gonna fix that. Come on now, Elementor. There it is. Okay, so it puts in a space there. There is your element. So now you can come into this side, and I'm going to change the content. I'm going to say um, you know, um, in, I guess spell here, enjoy our selection of videos. Our selection of videos. I can't type when someone's watching me. Okay, so and maybe I want to put that in the middle, and maybe I want to add more space around it. So I add a little padding to it. Maybe I want to change the style. Maybe I want to change the size of this wording. I can slide that around. Um, you know, and when I can see what it's going to look like, then I'll hit update, and that change will go immediately live on the site. So that's how you can add an element. Now, I'm not going to do that for you. I want you to make those decisions for yourself. This is just a tutorial, but you can see all the different things you can add. If you wanted a standalone video, one that wouldn't be in a playlist, that would just be by itself at the top, or you want to put in a divider, or a map. Perhaps you want to put in a map to the church, maybe on your contact page, or there's all of these things that you can add to your pages. So yeah, I'll just let you enjoy that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm not going to make any changes because I want you to be able to do that. So I just showed you how. Again, am I going to hit this button? No, I'm not going to hit this button. I'm going to go to the W to go back. I can't emphasize that strongly enough. All right, so the last thing I want you to show you, as I mentioned before, is how to make posts, because I imagine that you have a lot of articles that you would like to upload. And I know you sent me a PDF of one of those books, and this might be a place where you could put that. So posts are very searchable content, especially for your business seminars. If you're writing articles about those, as people are looking for business seminars in your area, Google will see these, especially if it's in the title, it's using keywords. This can help you be found on the internet. So always a good thing to write blog posts. When WordPress is set up, they give you one as a sample in here so you can see what it is. And again, this is what Gutenberg looks like. This is how difficult it is. So you can still edit this with Elementor, even on your posts. All right. So that I always encourage you to use the Elementor instead of the WordPress editor, Gutenberg. All right, so this opens up to a blog post. This is your basic blog post, and you're going to build this page very easily. Okay, so you'll notice that this is the title of the page, and you may or may not want that to show up. Generally, what I do is I don't like the titles to show up. I like to add it as an element later. So in order, even on new pages or posts, this is the same. Go down to this cogwheel. This is the page settings. And as I click that, it's going to give me an option here to hide the title. And I always check that. I don't want it to show because I want to craft the page completely. I don't want it to be an automatic thing because it doesn't match the styling of the page. So when you're making a new page or post, just come into this cogwheel, the settings, and click yes. All right. Now we're ready to add. They've set you up again a section, a column, and an element. So I'll click on this, and they've given you a text editor right here. What I would recommend is that when you're writing your blog posts, you write them in another application, either Word or Google Doc or something, and then once you have that crafted just the way you want it, then bring it, cut it, and paste it into this box. This is a small box. It's a little awkward for being creative. Yeah, that's just a tip that I would give you is create the post in another application and just cut and paste it right into the space. All right. I'm not going to make any changes to it right there. You can make style changes though. If you hit this global, these are the colors that I've already used on the site. So if you want it to be the standard dark blue, you can have it print there. You can also change the font. You click the down button here. These other font options will come up. You can change that. You can change the size. Otherwise, it's just going to be a default. But you can write your post in here. If you want to make it a little bit more attractive, it's nice to add some images to your post. So here's our image. Let's say I want to drag that right above. Give that a chance to open up. Again, when I'm filming, when I'm recording, Elementor tends to slow down. So you shouldn't have the same type of challenge when we're not filming. There we go. Okay, so now the element is present. Don't be worried that it's so large. Whatever image you use is going to dictate the size. So how do I get my images in here? Well, the nice thing about, remember your media files are all linked right through these options. So as I click on that, I can either upload a new file or I can go over to the media library here. And remember all of those images that we already have in this file, you know, I can choose one and I can say insert, and there it is. Too big? That's okay. I can resize it here. I can just say I just want a medium image and I want it on the side. All right, and you can also, let's say I want this 2 columns. I can duplicate. I can add another column to make it 2 column. I can say add a new column and it'll put it right over here. And let's say I want my words here. I'm just styling this page very simply. I can drag it. I'm going to bring in another, say we want the title of our post, we want to add that above our text. Again, get that right where you want it. If it's in the, there we go. So, right, this is my article. Right, that's going to be my title. And there you have your blog post. You can also say, okay, well, let's say this is about your business seminars and we want to help people sign up or find out more information. Let's add a button. Come on now. Let's add a button. Again, it's acting kind of silly. Okay, well, it went to the wrong place. No fear. I'll just drag it to where I want it. So easy to use. And I'll say, learn more. And here, I can take it to another page. And here's a nice little tip. So we're going to get rid of that little question mark. And I can just type in the name of another page. So I'm going to say, Covenant. Oh, and here comes, these are my pages. So I click on here, and this button will take the visitor to that page. And I can decide if I want it to just go right to that page or if I want it to open in a new window. Generally, my rule of thumb is if I'm referring to the site itself, I will not have it open in a new window. The time I will have it open in a new window is when it is referring to an outside source, like an Amazon link or something that is off of the website. Okay, that's just my choice. You can make that choice any way you'd like to. Okay, so now we've got the link in and we need to style this button. Maybe I don't want red. Maybe I want to use our default, maybe I know that bright blue that we have. And I want to make sure the text is white. Now, when a button, we want something to happen when we hover over it. So this is how it normally looks. And when we hover over it, we can also change how that looks. So what I like to do is I'll keep the styling of the text and the background the same, but I will give it a little bit of hover animation. I'll say grow. Because when I hover over it, and you can actually try it when you hover over it, I want it to just get bigger. And that lets the visitor know, oh, I can click on this. Okay. Another thing to have is add a little padding, because those words are kind of tight into that box. So I'm going to add, let's see what happens, 20. Yeah, that's kind of big. Maybe we'll just add a 15 pixels around that. And there you have it, a button that will take them to where I want them to learn about, right? Anyway, that's just an example of using posts to boost your SEO and bring people who are looking for information to places where they can interact with you on your site, right? So I'm going to go ahead and update this. I'm going to leave it there. Right now, we don't have anywhere in your menu, right? There's nothing in your menu that will take you to a blog per se. So this article won't be showing anywhere. So when you do have content you're ready to have public, then we'll add that to your menu. All right, so again, to exit, I'm going to hit the hamburger, exit to dashboard, and no, not this, this. Hit that W to get back to WordPress. Okay, so that is posts. All right, so really that is your walk through the basics of how you can make updates, how you can maintain your site, keep it functioning well. Of course, I am always here for, you can shoot me an email if you have a question, and yeah, I'm happy to be here if you get stuck or something is not clear or I need to cover something that I haven't. All right, aloha.